You know what? I'm thinking like Mike Bradley. Should we? Yeah, come out of the stream. Scott Walters will save you. But. All right, we'll get started. It's after 6, right? Like the hair. Yeah. There are seats in the front. If anyone wants to speak. Kids, you can take them if you want.
Or you can offer them to an adult.
Or you can offer them to an adult.
That too. There are cards here. There's plenty of them.
All right. Good evening. I'm Doug Wheeler with Touching Little League. And on behalf of the Little League, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Clarke Way dedication ceremony. Last summer, our dear friend and Metuchen Little League volunteer extraordinaire, Clarke, passed away at a far too early age. I had the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Metuchen Little League community at his funeral. I mentioned the impact Hal's loss would have on our community, especially our youth, who benefit from Hal's generosity, selflessness, and kindness, and support not just Metuchen Little League, but many other programs enjoyed by our children. The Little League contemplated many ideas, but ultimately decided to honor Hal by renaming the driveway leading into Fader Field in our clubhouse, right here, as Clarke Way, and by sprucing up the Run the Bases area that runs adjacent to the driveway, which is now being named the Run the Bases Park at Clarke Way. You can notice it over here, brand new trees and new bases and new fences as well. We thought what better way to honor Hal than to name the driveway that all of our kids who benefit from the efforts of special volunteers like him will walk on as they finish the annual opening day parade and on to Fader Field for the opening day ceremony. It will be a constant reminder of the contributions Hal made to the Metuchen Little League. I want to thank Dan Lebovitz, who stepped up to the plate to manage this project. Dan had lots of help. Volunteers inspired by wanting to live up to Hal's lasting legacy. While Dan will be thanking these volunteers later today, I want to echo Dan's appreciation for your efforts, as without your help, today would not be possible. So Hal would definitely be proud. So without further ado, Dan, all yours.
Thanks, Doug. I didn't really do much, so even though he was thanking me, there really wasn't that much that I did. We're all here today for Hal. There's so much that we could say about him. We don't want this to drag on for days, but we have enough time to speak about him. But we want to focus about his generosity with regards to Metuchen Little League and just his general selflessness for Metuchen Little League. And what we did here today, couldn't have been done without all the volunteers who really stepped up to make this a reality. And I just wanted to mention a few people by name. We're standing here on some pavers, and I think these are called railroad ties, but I'm not sure. But Dan Mazdia did this whole area here, and what a great job, and thanks so much for that. Ken Cassani just steamrolled this whole thing and was just amazing at getting all these workers to get this done. And this is Running Bases Park at Clarke Field, and if you recall from years something like that. Years gone by, it's something for the kids to play on, and it looks a little bit nicer. It's a little bit spruced up. And Ken, thank you very much. And we had a lot of workers here to make this get done. And I don't want to call everyone out by name, but you all know who you are. If you could just kind of raise your hand, and this way I know no one really wants to do that, but go ahead, raise your hand. Come on, raise your hand, please. All right, see, like Hal, no one wants to take credit for their volunteerism, but things don't get done without volunteers. The cards that you're looking at, or hopefully have in your hand, and when you get a chance to read the back of it, and you look at it, and you're like, wow, how professional of a baseball card is this, and what a nice thing. Rich Cappuccino, Margot Wheeler, worked on this, and again, great stuff. So thank you, to everybody for that. And it's funny that no one raised their hand, because that's exactly Hal's spirit, Chip and I were just talking about that a moment ago. I don't know if he's laughing or upset that he's getting this recognition, but it is what it is. And when just speaking, I guess, with everything that he did for Metuchen Little League, and we're going to have some people talk about that, there was really only one time where that I knew him where there was one time where he just kind of put Metuchen Little League behind him, and the one time was last year, ironically, when he was receiving the award for being the Metuchen Little League Matt Redshaw Volunteer of the Year award. And he had a conflict where he had to take Hunter to a basketball tournament, and so I was asked a couple days before if we can kind of see what we could do to get him to come to the opening day parade so he can be there in person and receive this award in front of everybody. He didn't care about that, and his line to me was, my family's first, and he had his priorities, but gosh darn did he give a lot of himself to Metuchen Little League, and that's for all these people that are here today and families. So obviously we're here to thank him for that. So without further ado, what I want to do next is invite up George Harry, President Emeritus of Metuchen Little League, and just to talk about some of what Hal did for Metuchen Little League. George?
Thanks, Dan. Hey, everyone. It's a great honor and privilege to say a few words about Hal. Hal was a big man, a big smile, big presence, and an unbelievably big impact. Said many times, a model for volunteerism that I hope not only the children here today, but the adults understand the impact that he made, and that we all are influenced by the commitment to volunteerism that Hal leaves behind. For most of us, when we get involved in an organization, it's a seasonal activity. Baseball might be from March to June. Most of us are trying to figure out how to get out of our 9 hours of service that we're asked to give for an organization like this one. Hal's trying to figure out how to break the world's record for most hours provided to an organization. His activities were year-round. In the preseason, he's getting tractors fixed, calling the town when a tree falls on the field, or doing anything else off-season while the rest of us are doing other things. On opening day, he's here at 7 o'clock in the morning doing whatever needs to be done before everyone arrives. During the season, whatever happens that he can do, he's there. And it never stops. It wasn't 1 year, it was every year, year-round. I'm amazed that somehow we're going to be able to have this season without him, but I think it's because people are really inspired by what Hal did, and everyone is filling in the little bit that they can to make up for the loss of this tremendous presence. Last year's recognition of Hal as the Volunteer of the Year could have been given to him any year, but we finally got it right and leaned on Hal and recognized him. And I can't tell you what an interesting morning it was. We tried everything we could do to stall Hal, to keep Hal. We had everybody working on him for the year. We knew he had to leave, but somehow we held out hope that Hunter's game would be postponed till later in the day and he wouldn't have to leave when he did. So I will never forget standing on that field, just me, Hal, and two other people. Danny McCadden was one who had a camera and someone else, turning the microphone on and announcing Hal as Volunteer of the Year. He was surprised. He had an amazing smile on his face. And from what we know about Hal, he probably would have preferred it that way than having it done publicly, where he would have felt like he needed to be acknowledged in front of everyone. When I asked Matt Redshaw, who I succeeded in this role, about Hal, like, this guy is everywhere, Matt. Why? What's he want? What's his angle? What's he want? This isn't right. And Matt said all he wants is to be appreciated. And all he wants is to be thanked once in a while. And as I got to know Hal for several years, I found that to be very, very true. So I can't say enough, and I can't list all the things Hal did for this organization, but I'd like to sum it up in a story of one instance with Hal, and I think it really it really tells a story on what this guy was willing to do on any occasion. I'm here one night, maybe call it a Tuesday night for a game, and the sound system's not working up to our standard. The music's not loud enough, you can't hear it right, there's something wrong. The next day, maybe when I get to work, it's 8:30 in the morning, I'll send Hal a text. Hal, there's something wrong with the sound system. Whenever you get a chance, can you take a look at it? At 9 o'clock, I get a reply. I'm in the clubhouse right now, and I think there's a problem with the sound, with the, I don't know what the hell that thing's called. Sorry. What that thing's called? Booster? What's it called?
Amplifier.
No, amplifier. It's an amplifier. There's a problem with the amplifier. I text him back, what should we do? 10 minutes later, I have a few ideas, George. Can I send them to you? I get a series of 5 pictures, picture text that say, well, we can do this, 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 or this. What do you want to do? I said, whatever you want to do, Hal. I said, spend up to a couple, whatever you need, let's get back in business. And I'm thinking, yeah, you know, a week later we'll have something and we'll be back in business. He says, I found this amplifier at a place across the street from Penn Station, or up the street from Penn Station. We can save $25 if we get it there, and we can have it today. Today, I'm not expecting it. I find out he tries, everybody he knows that works in Manhattan to go by this location and pick up this amplifier, not only so that it's here, but it's here for tonight. So 20 kids tonight have sound. Not 20 kids that he knows, 20 kids in a community that he loved. He wanted them to have a good baseball experience that night. Lo and behold, I think he conned Andy into picking it up on the way to Andy's train home, and that night we had sound. And I just can't think of a better example of somebody willing to go above and beyond, not only for his own kids, because they weren't playing here that night, but for your kids and my kids. And I miss this guy. So thank you very much for what you're all doing tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, George. That was great. Next, I want to call up Chip Clarke to come up here for a few words.
So, yeah, on behalf of all my huge family, but especially Hunter and Jenny, I want to thank you for memorializing Hal like this. And one of the things you've done is that you've made sure that his reach goes far into the future. Because surely someday kid will walk past this spot, look up and say, who's Hal Clarke? And the mom, the dad, the aunt, the uncle will respond that he was a man of great generosity and civic engagement. You should try to be like Hal. Hal loved you all individually, and he loved the community. And so do I. Thank you very much. I just do what he says.
So, yes, so Hal Clarke's Way is what this driveway is now being named, Hal Clarke's Way. And it could also stand for, as Chip just mentioned and as George just talked to, his civic duty, his generosity, his volunteerism. That's Hal Clarke's Way. And without any further ado, Chip, I'd like you to do the honors.
I'll give you Hal Clarke's Way.
So that concludes the ceremony for the most part. Just thank everyone for coming. Thank again everybody who helped to make this possible. No, you don't get your work bond for doing that, but thank you. And play ball? All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
That was the other night.
I was hot like it hurt my legs.